How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. We have to talk about one of the best stocks of the decade. Now, this is coming from Motley Fool. Last time I quoted this, a lot of people gave me a hard time saying Motley Fool just pushes their own agenda, and I kind of think that's true a little bit. They are a business, but the company we're looking at here today is one that I am pretty heavily invested in, relatively, for my portfolio, and they have announced a couple of really big partnerships this week. They had a new firm just update their coverage or just initiate coverage on them. And this is one of those companies that if you look 5 or 10 years out, it will probably be a very expensive company because of what they are doing and how broad the use case is for their technology. And if you've heard about Matterport before, continue to watch because there are new agreements that they formed just this week that have huge implications. And this is where some of the things that I've been talking about in the past for Matterport are starting to come to light, and they're starting to build partnerships that can make massive amounts of revenue for them in the future. So if you guys don't mind hitting the like button, I appreciate that. Also, if you guys have been wanting to join the Patreon in the past, I have a little incentive here for you. So with ADA announcing smart contracts or Cardano announcing smart contracts at the beginning of next month, and with my birthday coming up here in just a few days, I want to do a giveaway. So if you join the Patreon, I suggest maybe joining at the beginning of next month because I don't want you to be double billed. But if you're in the Patreon in the first week or so of next month, I'm giving away 100 ADA tokens. Now, if you don't like Cardano or you don't like cryptocurrency, that's fine. I can just PayPal you. But I'm giving away 100, which is worth about what, $260 as of now, something like that. And I will be giving away in the first couple weeks of next month. So I just wanted to announce that in case you guys want to join and you've wanted maybe something extra to check out the Patreon, you can check it out down below underneath the video, and you can get a chance to win about $300. Now, I'm going to get myself out of here and we will talk about this stock. So if you don't know about Matterport, they were a SPAC, and they're actually one of the few SPACs that have done well since they merged, because SPACs have been under attack. But they essentially give these 3D renderings of different buildings. And they can do this for a variety of reasons, from construction sites to you want to put your house up on Redfin and you want people to be able to see how it's all laid out. And this can be used for so many different things. And I've talked about crypto uses in the future. I've talked about how this could be great for insurance companies, how it could be really important for Airbnb. Let's say you want to Airbnb your whole house and you can show the layout, you can show where everything is, so that way if you have a renter that comes in and steals something, you can show, hey, 6 days ago I took a scan of it and now it's gone. So that would be awesome. Now, there are some new use cases for it, and the thing is, this is still only a $3.6 billion stock. Now, this is not a cheap stock. Let me just be clear. It has a run rate around 120 million right now. So that means take the last quarter revenue and then multiply by 4, it's 120. So their price to sales is around 30. They are growing quickly though, and this is a software company with subscriptions. So we'll talk about that here in a second, but they have some interesting news. Now, this is kind of a fun thing before we get into the serious partnerships they've been announcing recently. NFTs have gone crazy right now. We've seen companies like Visa and Budweiser buy NFTs just this week and buying them for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Something that's interesting here is Matterport can 3D scan different buildings. So if they start to partner with these different buildings, let's say some really historic monument wanted to raise a lot of capital, they could work with Matterport, they could 3D scan it and then sell it as an NFT. It could be a 1-out-of-1 set, or let's say someone wants to scan the Mona Lisa, like the room that the Mona Lisa is in, the original Mona Lisa. You could have an NFT of that. They're all different use cases, but you could scan some of the coolest buildings in the world and you could create NFTs and sell them for extra capital. That's just something that I thought was interesting. Someone's already trying to do this. I don't think they actually have partnered with Matterport, but it's just one thing that's interesting as a way of making extra money in the future. And they have talked about crypto before on their website. Now, this is the first thing that we have to talk about. Matterport launches Notes, an interactive collaboration and communication tool for its digital twins. So this is a really interesting thing that they're adding. And you can see here, they made a YouTube video kind of explaining it. So you can 3D scan And then you can also make notes on certain parts of a house or of a building. So for example, here they talked about putting a note here, and then someone across the country can collaborate and say, yeah, hey, I think we really need to add some chairs. It's looking kind of lonely. And then you can upload files of different stools. It's really cool, right? Because you can do everything in one spot. It is really what we would expect to be able to do in the 21st century. But if you are working on real estate across the country, or if you are working on making an office environment and hey, it's during COVID, you want to do it at home, so you are talking with the other people, but you want to move back to work, you have one person go scan it, and then you can build out the place that you want, and you can order everything and have someone go do it for you, and you don't actually have to be there in person. You can measure everything out right there. That's really cool. That's just built on their own platform, that Notes. In addition to that, we have Matterport. This is just as of today, entering the public sector to digitize U.S. government facilities, infrastructure, and strategic initiatives. This is coming with In-Q-Tel Inc. Now, I had never heard of this, but they have this agreement to develop a compliant government cloud offering, and this is with In-Q-Tel. Now, again, if you don't know what In-Q-Tel is, I never heard of it. They help invest in high-tech startup companies focused on supporting United States capabilities. It was founded 22 years ago. So over here you can see that they, in 2006, so this is a while ago, reviewed over 5,800 business plans, invested approximately $150 million in more than 90 companies. In 2016, it was funded with at least $120 million per year, primarily from the CIA, as well as the NSA, FBI, and U.S. Defense Department. So they are pretty big. I mean, they have a lot of money flowing through them, and they are going to work with Matterport. They're going to scan government buildings and create immersive 3D digital twins. Now, you might be asking, why would they do this? Well, they say, for example, in the event of an emergency, digital twins of buildings, roads, bridges, tunnels, and water supplies or electrical grids can be instantly viewed and analyzed by authorized users to respond more efficiently, collaboratively, and more effectively. This could change the game for a lot of responding to different emergencies for U.S. governments. So instead of laying out a floor plan and trying to guess, okay, well, what can we really do with this? They can show real models of these different buildings. I mean, think about this in terms of banks, right? If you were a bank and you had some big bank in downtown New York and you're worried about constantly being robbed or something, you could scan, and that could definitely help federal agencies if there was ever a problem, or if you had to respond to an emergency. I mean, I think there are a lot of different use cases for this, but the fact is they're doing this with the government. That is a pretty big stamp of approval, right? I mean, we think about that with Palantir all the time. If you can get in with the US government, that is usually a good sign that you are, first of all, really secure. Second of all, you have a really good use case, and it's going to be easy money. It's going to be really easy money. Now, they have worked, again, with some big parts of the government, CIA, NSA, FBI, U.S. Defense Department. That is really good news. Now, last quarter, we saw Matterport drop in price. So we had earnings. There's a big drop off. There's a lot of excitement because they actually announced a big partnership with Facebook too. But there was a drop after earnings. And I think that's because we didn't have quite the growth we were expecting. You can see 108% growth. This is back in Q1 to Q1. So 108% growth. And then we only saw 21% growth because we saw so much growth in Q2 of last year. But you can see that we still grew quarter to quarter almost 10%. So 26.9 million up to 29.5 million. So almost 10%. Subscription revenue grew to 15.3 million from 13.8. So about 10% again. Subscription revenue is really nice. Everyone wants to see subscription revenue with their companies. The other thing that people didn't want to see was we had a bigger loss than expected. We had a net loss of 62 cents. The quarter before, we only had a 30-cent loss. Now, a lot of this is just coming due to the fact that we put a lot more into selling, general, and administrative, which cost a significant amount more, about $3.5 billion more. Then we also put another $1 billion into research and development. So there are a lot of the time a lot of expenses when these companies go public with general and especially administrative. Like people are just getting paid more, they're getting bonuses for going public and stuff like that. So that is something that's fairly normal to see. But if we look at their losses, their net loss was not horrible. I mean, sure, it was $6 million, but they have $42 million in cash. So that would put them at a run rate of about 2 years before they run out of cash. And that is assuming they don't actually become positive net income in that time. So it's not like they have a month or two before they go under, right? They have a good amount of time before they need to shore up more cash. By then, we might already be positive. You can also see that they recently received a new rating from Credit Suisse. So Credit Suisse initiated coverage with a $20 price target. This is as of a few days ago. The way I think about this is there are few companies in the world that truly have great technology that are still under $10 billion. We have a lot of companies that seem like they have great technology, right? But they're not announcing big partnerships. They're risky because they're in the hundreds of millions. Matterport has a great subscription model. They have a great product. They have a ton of use cases, and they're building big partnerships. So I look at Matterport and I think, where could this be in 10 years? They're building partnerships with Facebook, the US government. They're building new additions to their platform so that it's way more collaborative. I look at this company, I say, how likely is it that they're going to be a $4 or $5 billion company in 10 years when they are growing so quickly, they're announcing all these partnerships? I don't think it's very likely. I think that this will be a great company to hold that has great technology that will only continue to build out their use cases and continue to build out partnerships. Now, of course, I could always be wrong. This is an expensive company, so you do have to pay attention to that. They are losing money quarter over quarter, or quarter in and quarter out. So they are losing money, but again, I think this has a bright future. Of course, do your research. I'm not a financial advisor. Let me know your thoughts on this company down below. Let me know if you've been adding at all. I added today. I bought more of this company. Now, of course, we've seen better prices in the past, but also they announced a lot of big partnerships here this week and a lot of big news. So I'm happy to buy this long term. I think it's going to be a great hold. Let me know your thoughts on this down below. And again, check out the Patreon down below in case you want a chance to win that $275 or $260, whatever the price of ADA is, $100 worth of ADA in the next couple weeks. Thank you guys. Thank you for hitting the like button and checking out the links down below in case you want Webull, you want some free shares from Webull, some free stock, or in case you want to check out BlockFire, Voyager. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.